All right, everyone. Our top 10 list for today. All right, before we start our top 10 list, if anyone has a top 10 list, worst, best, whatever subject you want to talk about to a degree, please just comment on any of our videos that you see on our YouTube channel or our on X, on Twitter. Comment, give us a top 10 list to do. If we don't get a top 10 list, then we usually just make up one our own. But we've done a lot of people that have a lot of our top 10 lists have been recommended, and we've done it. Like we did the top 10 boobs in video game. We did the top 10 butts in video game because we had people recommend it. We'll do it as long as it's not too far out there. And yes, those videos are on YouTube, the top 10 boobs. But we'll do them. We just need people to give us top 10 lists. Again, just comment to our videos and all that. All right, Grant, this week's top 10 list is a top 10 worst RPG characters of all time.
All right.
Okay. You want me to get it started, or you want to get it
Go
started?
ahead. No, go ahead. Start it off.
All right, Grant. You know, I got one game. There's a reason why one of my games in this top 10 is one of the worst of the genre, and I'll get to that. All right, Grant. My number 10. Let me just pull up the picture. Grant. All right. Here we go. My number 10 is Kate Sith from Final Fantasy VII.
That one's on
This
mine
might
too.
be a hot topic.
Could be.
People are like, oh my God, I love Kate Sith.
Yeah, no.
All right, Kate Sith was one of the most worthless RPG characters of all time. It was worthless in the original, still worthless in all the remakes. Just a worthless character. And for some reason, this character is a spy. Like that's in the story of this character. It was a spy or something like that.
It's a puppet or whatever, like a robotic. It's not even human. It's somebody's controlling it.
It's just a bizarre backstory of this character. I never played with Kate Sith. It was not. I just didn't like any of the attacks the character did. I didn't really like it in the story. It was just, for a story with kind of a serious type tone, I would say this character is just way out of there. I'm curious who actually designed this character to be in this game. Like, what person came up with the idea of Kate Sith? But to me, Kate Sith, definitely one of the top 10 worst characters of all time. RPG characters. All right, Grant, you're number 10.
Preston Garvey, Fallout 4.
Easy. I couldn't stand that thing.
Man.
Didn't make it to my top 10, but I could not stand it.
All the time, every time you're doing something, all you hear is another settlement needs your help. Like, I know that. Isn't that the point of the game?
Yep.
And all his missions, they felt repetitive and grind heavy. It was just, yeah,
worthless character.
Yeah.
Good one. All right, Grant. This is actually a character from the game that I consider one of the best RPGs of all time. Let me pull him up. You remember Rico from Xenogears?
Mm-hmm. I was talking like Blanca.
Character. Yeah, he looked like Blanca, but he was a cool-looking character. But he had no personality, had not really anything to do with the story.
Yeah.
He was not as strong as all the other characters. His mech wasn't even as strong as all the characters, or his Xenogear, I guess you could say. But he was just kind of there. Like, he had no real backstory, or like, he had a little bit of backstory, but he was just not interesting. Cool looking, but just not a good RPG character. And honestly, I didn't like him in the game, besides the way he looked. That's about it. All right, Grant, you're number 9.
My number 9 is from Final Fantasy IV. And no.
Can I take a guess?
Nope. It's not that. It's not who you think it is.
Who is
it? That one's way further up.
Oh, it's way further up? Okay.
A lot of people thought this character was cool. I think he's kind of worthless. Edge.
Edge?
I thought Edge was kind of worthless.
Why do you say that?
Because I thought he was he was the prince, the ninja prince or whatever. Mm-hmm. He just came off, I don't know, man. He just came off whiny, and he wasn't you didn't get him enough in time to where he make him like a really strong character. He wasn't really one of your stronger characters. Now he wasn't, because everybody's like, oh, he's a ninja, he's cool. I mean, he wasn't like Shadow. You know what I mean? Like Shadow was cool. Edge was not. He was not cool. I didn't like him. If I never used him, I never put him in my party unless I had to.
I didn't think it was that bad.
It was kind of bad. If you
Maybe
go
for
back,
your
if you sit down and really like, I mean, I know you have. I'm just saying, like, if you play it again, like, look how bad he is compared to like all your other, like Kane and all your other ones.
yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't put him on. I wouldn't put him on my party. You know what
Yeah,
I mean, to fight. But I mean, he wasn't to me as a overall character. He wasn't that bad. But as I can see where you're
he just
coming though.
whine. He just whine. Like for a
Yeah,
ninja, you're like, my family died. Like, well, okay, well,
yeah,
don't ninjas like fucking like go out there and stay silent and go whoop some ass? You're over there
yeah,
crying.
yeah. All right, Grant. My number 8 is Caden Alenko from Mass Effect. As soon as I had the choice of picking this guy to die, I I chose it, and I saved Ashley instead, who is an okay character also. But between the two, Ashley was way better. This guy just had bland personality, like had no life to the character. Probably one of the worst. He is the worst character in Mass Effect, like mainline characters. But Caden is he, just a stupid character. So as soon as I could, I made sure he died, and that's my number 8.
All right,
Grant, go ahead.
my number 8, Rufus Shinra.
Oh, you didn't like Rufus, dude?
Didn't like Rufus. Let me tell you why.
No,
Because they tried to make him this badass. They tried to,
he came
but
across
they
a
like,
little.
yeah, they immediately made him weak. You know what I mean? Now, I will say this: he was better. I'm going off the original Rufus. He was a little bit better in the remake,
Yeah,
but the original Rufus, like the coolest thing he did was get in the helicopter and try to kill you. But after that, he was like, "Oh yeah," you know what I'm
they
saying?
gave him more life in Advent Children in that
Yeah,
movie. They
yeah,
gave him a little bit better, kind of like when he revealed who he was, and
yeah.
then in
He
remake
just failed
he
to be. He tried to be. He tried to be intimidating, but he failed. To be that way,
yeah
and his arc felt very undeveloped. But also they had him going against Sephiroth as of like who was badass more. You know what I mean?
yeah
So they kind of did it to themselves.
yeah. So you'd say the original Final Fantasy VII
Yeah, the
Rufus?
original one. I liked him. I liked him a little bit. He was actually pretty
Yeah, they
cool.
gave him
He was
more personality.
Yeah, he was
In the
smooth. I
movie.
ain't gonna lie, he was smooth when he got out that helicopter. He was smooth with it
Oh
when he
yeah,
got out. Yeah.
I remember in Advent Children, the movie, and when he revealed himself, and he
Mhm.
dropped down from that tower holding
Yeah.
Genova, the container,
Yep.
and he shot that shotgun up at
Mhm.
Sephiroth, or to blow up the container. That was pimp.
Yep.
But they really brought the Turks and him kind of to life more ever
Yeah,
since
yeah,
Advent
exactly. Because the
Children.
Turks, they were just in the original one, they
Yeah,
were just kind of, God, I gotta fight them. God, you know?
yeah, they did give him a lot more personality in the new one.
Yeah.
So hats off to them for that. Okay, that's your number 8, right?
Yep.
All right. My number 7 is Karth Onasi from Star Wars: The Old Republic or
Oh.
Knights of the Old Republic. This guy, whiny, can't trust him with anything, but always whiny, and his dialogue is just bleh. That's all I got to say. But he's always whiny, and you can't trust him for anything. Just a stupid character. Like I couldn't stand any scene this guy was in playing this game, which was a fantastic game. Fantastic game. But yeah, this guy's pure garbage.
Yeah.
I don't know who developed this guy, but I'd like to wring his neck. Just straight up garbage. All right, great. Go ahead.
My number 7 is Tatsu from Xenoblade Chronicles
Oh my
X.
god. Oh
Dude was
my.
not
Oh
dude.
my god. The
He tried
pom
to, okay,
the
yeah.
pom.
He tried to be funny. He wasn't funny. Like all his scenes made you want to either throw this console out the window or yourself. His contribution to the combat was terrible. His narratives were awful. Like just his overall narrative to the plot. He was basically just a mascot character,
That's
and I
what he was.
hated him. Exactly, I hated him,
And he tried to be funny the entire
and it
story.
was it was
And it was
terrible.
never funny.
It was terrible.
Never. Just
Hmm.
annoying. But I forget what they're called. Yeah, nope, Napons. Like they have him in all the Xenoblades.
Yeah.
He was especially the worst one in the Chronicles X. I wonder if the remaster version of it, the remake, is going to just get rid of him or make
God, I
him
hope so. Just
redo him.
yeah.
But yeah, Tatsu, dude, I'm gonna go ahead and leave it here too for my number 6.
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna just leave this guy here. That's my number. I'll say that's my number 6.
I got you.
Yeah, I can't stand this guy.
Yeah, it's terrible.
All right, Grant.
All right.
Number 6.
This one might be a little controversial. My number 6 is from Final Fantasy X, and it's the main protagonist. It's Titus.
Oh, I agree.
I think Titus is terrible
I think
because
Titus is one of the worst protagonists, main characters ever in a Final Fantasy.
they made him, his personality is garbage because they try to make him arrogant, but then they also made him whiny. Like he was very whiny.
I thought his
And
design was bad too.
do you remember that famous, like the famous ha 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 laugh scene?
Yeah.
That's so stupid.
And what did he wear? Like overalls or something? Like, what
Yeah,
did
it
he
was
have
so
on? Like,
stupid.
it was a stupid character.
Like he never you never felt when you were playing with him, you never felt like he was a leader character. Like when you like Cloud,
Never.
like with Cloud, you felt like, all right, this is the man. Like he's going to be in my party no matter what. You know what I mean? Unless I couldn't put him in there. But
My
I mean,
favorite character was, I thought Orin was
yeah,
cool.
it was cool. Yeah, it was
And
cool,
Lulu,
man.
I like Lulu too. I
Yeah.
just like their personalities.
Yeah,
I wish
well,
Orin was the main character. That
yeah.
would have been so much more interesting.
Lulu has some other assets that were good too.
That's
though.
right. Lulu was. All right. Grant, my
Mhm.
number 6. We're about to get into the nitty gritty. Oh, people gonna be mad on this one.
Mm-hmm.
Snow Villiers or Villiers, whatever, from Final Fantasy 13.
Mm-hmm.
I'm about to go on a run on these characters. So let me pull up Snow real quick. Oh, buddy. This dude, he was like, okay, he got the bandana on. He kind of,
Yeah.
trying to make him look cool and stuff. But he was like the overconfident hero dude with the personality and just super obnoxious throughout the entire
Like
game.
they all those Final Fantasy X to like, I don't know. It could have been. They probably stopped at like 13. They always had like the guy who was like the ladies. He tried to be like the ladies' man. Like he tried to like, he was like the smooth talker.
He didn't fit in the story.
It's kind of like Waka from Final Fantasy X. I hated him too, but
Like
he didn't make my list.
Final Fantasy 13 was kind of not, I'd say dark, but is kind of emotional depth to it, and he was just out of place.
Yeah.
Plus, he just wasn't a good character. I didn't like him.
Yeah.
But yeah, number 6.
All right, number 5 is Kate Sith.
Kate Sith.
Number 5. Yeah,
there we go.
It was I mean, again. You only play with Kate Sith in the Golden Saucer, that whole scenario, whatever. Soon now, I liked the quote unquote story part. I like the story of it. Like I will say this, I did like the story of it, and you kind of felt bad after it died. Then it came back because they built another one. You thought, they put them, you know what I mean. You remember how like it died, and then they built another one. It's called Kate Sith number 2 or whatever.
I didn't feel sorry for him.
Well,
I just wish it died again.
But I never played with it because I hated its stupid megaphone attack. I thought that was just dumb.
Yeah.
But no,
it's just out of box character.
Yeah, it was out of box character. It was. I didn't mind the story arc as much, but I hated the character playing the character. Like I just didn't like the character.
I mean, I like Yuffie more than this character.
Oof,
that's saying something.
Yeah. Oh, don't say that. Oh my God, she's the greatest.
Yeah, you don't want to say that.
Yeah.
All right, Grant. Continue my roll. What is this? Number 5.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Hope Estheim from Final Fantasy 13.
Another 13. Another overly 13? Whiny, immature character.
All right, so this character immediately starts over a whiny child.
Yeah.
Like that's all the personality of this character is.
Yep.
And another, I guess you can say, repetitive character, but he just had a whiny backstory.
And he didn't grow.
He eventually kind of got more mature towards the end, but like he's just an annoying character, dude. Like I was debating put this guy way up higher than I did, but just I couldn't stand this character playing it in Final Fantasy 13. Which honestly, Final Fantasy 13 is to me one of the worst ones in all the Final Fantasies. All right.
Number 4, Karth Onasi. Always acting, this character is always acting paranoid, and distrust the player character, whiny, everything about it, man. It's just you couldn't connect with this character emotionally.
I
Terrible.
hated it. Like I said before, I
Yeah.
hated this character,
Yeah.
dude.
Terrible.
Like the worst part of this game.
Yeah.
Fantastic game. This character really
Awful.
just garbage. All right, Grant, I got another main protagonist that you play in the game that I think is quite possibly one of the worst ones.
Okay.
Probably worse than Titus, honestly.
Ooh, okay.
Worse than Titus. All right, let me show you who I'm talking about. You're going to recognize this guy. Edge Maverick from Star Ocean of the Last Hope. Playing the entire story, this dude has the worst decisions out of any protagonist I've ever played in any video game. The worst decisions he comes up with. And just a bland personality, dude. Like, this wasn't even a good Star Ocean.
No, it was
because
awful.
their main character just sucked.
Yeah.
I don't know how when they made this, Square Enix, let's make a bland, whiny protagonist that has bad decisions throughout the entire game, and let's hope for the success. I don't know what they were thinking on this, but Edge Maverick, dude, one of the worst ever. Probably, I would say one of, if not the worst protagonist, one of the worst. All right, Grant, go ahead.
Number 3, Navi.
Oh God,
from Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time. I hated that fairy. I hated.
Hey,
listen.
I hated that. Every time you couldn't even do nothing. Every time you move around, like I get it was supposed to guide you.
Every button you press.
Yeah, but shut the fuck up and let me play the game. Like, let me play the game. Like, I don't need you giving me advice on how to throw the bombs. I know how to throw the bombs.
Collapse. My number 2.
You're on number 3.
Number
3. You're on number 3.
Number 3?
Wait. No. I'm sorry. I forgot. I thought I went first. I went first. Sorry, go ahead.
We're on number 2.
All right, go ahead.
Another Final Fantasy 13 character. I have 3 of them in my top 10. This is why this game is one of the worst Final Fantasies ever made.
Ooh, they're going to hate you for that.
You can say a hot take.
No,
what?
I agree.
It is one of the worst.
It's the worst. That and 15 are the worst.
Every single Final Fantasy. Yeah. Every single one of them.
This and 15 are the worst. These are the worst ones.
All right. Like Final Fantasy 13 and 10, I put in the kind of the same, except 10 has some good characters like Lulu and Auron, you know what I mean? But like this one is the worst. All right, Vanille. All right, so she's another one that just didn't make sense in the story. No. Like how this, like I would say how the kind of like grim story is in this. But she was like, very childlike.
High pitched voice was overly high pitched and terrible.
Was annoying. And then she'd cry all the time.
Yeah.
Like everything they did was like every other scene she's crying, tearing up or something like that. But yeah, just a horrible character. But not as horrible as my first one, my number 1. But go ahead. You're number 2.
My number 2 is Caden Alenko, Mass Effect.
I hate that guy.
And anytime that I can sacrifice him,
I could see it being a number 2.
Yeah. Anytime that I could sacrifice him during the Vermeer mission, I did. Because that was terrible. Yes.
If anyone's played Mass Effect or
like his face and his haircut.
What we're talking about.
Like everything about him makes you hate his face and his haircut after, like as much. I sacrificed him every time. If they
remaster, like come out with like a remake of these games, the original trilogy, they need to just make sure he is non-existent.
Yep.
Or replace him with someone totally different. But yeah, this is a horrible character. All right. Grant. My number 1. My number 1, Grant.
Mm-hmm.
That we've talked about quite a bit on this podcast. Let me go and pull that image up. Let me know when you see that. Do you see that?
I see that.
You see
I
that
knew that.
picture?
I knew that was going to be your number one.
The worst RPG character. Yes, it's worse than your number one, Grant.
Okay, we'll
It is.
see.
No, it is.
Yeah, you're probably right. You're
Most
probably right.
cringiest, out of place, new age Western woke crap ever put in a video game, an RPG. Worst dialogue, childlike. She's supposed to be a dragon hunter, and she talks like a little kid. And it's just way out of whack in the game Dragon Age, the
You
Velgar.
don't have to play with her though. You don't have to do her quest.
Worst RPG character of all time, Grant. Worst. It is.
Yeah, I probably can
No
agree
one
with
can
that.
tell me different. Give me a character in any game. You know what? I'm going to say she's the worst game character of all time. Give me a character, and I guarantee you I can debate that she's worse. Not because she's trans, not because of what they made her. It was just the dialogue, her backstory. It did not fit in the story of the game.
Yeah.
And her character was just so cringy.
Yeah.
Everyone would agree with me.
No.
You cannot disagree in saying this was a good character. Horrible character.
Yeah, I agree. My number one is different.
It's number one, Grant.
My number one is from being just the most worthless character. It's not cringy. It's just worthless. Like if you had this person on your team, you know who it is. We've already discussed it. If you had this person on your team, if you had to take this character into battle with you, you're going to die. If you need this character to help you live, you're not going to.
Yeah.
My number one from Final Fantasy IV, Edward Chris Von Muir.
Von Muir
is the worst fucking RPG character to me. Not the worst overall character. The most worthless. That's why I think he's the worst. Worthless character. Okay, let's talk about it.
You didn't like Edward the Bard?
Let me tell you why. First of all, he one of his abilities is to hide because he's such a pussy.
Yeah.
Like you can actually hide because he's so fucking weak. He's weak and terrible. Now, I get it. You don't keep him long enough in the game to power him up. His singing abilities fucking suck. His harp's awful. Do no damage. Even if you have him, at full life, does nothing. He cries in the game. Not only is he whiny, he cries in the game where Tella has to slap him and tell him to stop fucking crying. like when does that happen? No, just worthless.
Edward the Bard from Final Fantasy IV.
Yes. And I get it. He wanted to save his his fiance died and all this other stuff, but he was this terrible character. Like he shouldn't even been in your party. Never. Yeah. At no point in this game should he ever been in your party. If they would have made him just like not be in your party, then they would have been fine. Terrible character.
Harp attacks.
It's fucking did like 3 hit points, like 30
hit points. That's it. It's just a worthless character.
God, it was terrible.
Worthless. All right, guys. That was our top 10.
Yep.
All right. Top 10 worst RPG characters of all time. Yep. If you guys have a top 10 list, comment to any one of our videos and we'll do the top 10. It can be worst, best, whatever you want. As long as it's within reason, we will do it.
As long as we can't get banned for it.
Yeah. All right.